Alright, so it's time to start going from adding and subtracting fractions to multiplying fractions. And so pretty much what multiplying fractions is just pretty much taking a fraction of a fraction. So if I were to do, for example, 5, 6, let's do it right here. 5, 6 times 1/2, I would essentially be taking 1/2 of 5/6. Because I'm multiplying 5/6 by 1/2. Alright, dividing is different. Alright, we're not going to get in there today. 5/6 times 1/2. And believe it or not, this is actually a really easy process. What you do is you just multiply 5 times 1. You multiply your numerators together. 5 times 1 is 5. And you multiply your denominators together. 6 times 2 is 12. That's all it is. So 5 times 1 is 5. And that's divided by 6 times 2, which is 12. And now 5/12 cannot be simplified anymore. So 5/12 is your final answer. And that's it. Alright, next example would be 3/2 times 1/3. So we're essentially taking 1/3 of 3/2. Think about that for a minute. What do you think that means? Taking 1/3 of 3/2. Can you kind of think, oh, we have 3 halves. 1/3 of that would be only one of those 3 halves. Right? That's pretty much what it is. But if we're to do that process that I just showed you, 3 times 1 equals 3 over 2 times 3 equals 6. And 3 over 6 can be simplified to 1/2. As we can just say, divide by 3, divide by 3, and we're going to get 1/2. 1/2 is pretty much your answer to this problem right here. Alright, just ripping through these. How about we do 6/7 times 4/7? This one should be interesting. 6/7 times 4/7. Okay, just multiply your numerators together. 6 times 4 is 24. 7 times 7 is 49. And think, can we simplify this? Well, I've recognized 49 and 24 before. They have something related to each other, but they don't in this case. If you were to do the greatest common or the least common denominator of 24 of 49 of 24 and 49, not the least common, not the greatest common factor, 49 would only, well, we would start with 24 and we would think, and there isn't one. There isn't a common denominator between 24 and 49. So this right here is your final answer. And they may get more complex. Your fractions may get more complex if we were to start multiplying them together like that. But it's okay. Alright, we've done that. So let's do 2/3 times 1/2. And so this right here is just another way of thinking, oh, 1/2 of 2/3 would just be 1/3, right? Or you could think of it as 2/3 of 1/2, right? And if I were to do this, I would say 2 times 1 is 2, 3 times 2 is 6, and can I reduce this? Yes, I can. I could just divide this by 2, divide this by 2, and I would be left with 1/3. Next, I'm going to be doing, or we are going to be doing, 2/5 times 3/4. Kind of going a little bit more complicated. Until the very last one, we're doing only 6 examples. Another way of saying 2/5 of 3/4, or 3/4 of 2/5. It's the same way, because you can just switch these numbers around no matter what. It's just multiplication. And so 2/5 times 3/4 is another way of saying 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 4 is 20. And so we're left with 6 over 20, which we can simplify as we recognize, oh, they're even numbers. We can obviously just divide them both by 2 and see if that works, right? 6 divided by 2 is 3. 20 divided by 2 is 10. And we cannot simplify that any further. So 2/5 of 3/4 or 3/4 of 2/5 is 3/10. One more example, we're going to do a little bit more complicated one, but you should be fine. 3/5 times 10/21. See, there can be pretty complicated fractions out there. Because we say there are. It's just math. 3/5 of 10/21. We can imagine this is a little bit less than 1/2. And we're taking 3/5 of that. What is the exact amount? Do not round. Not 3/5 times 1/2. We're trying to do this problem right here. Remember, just multiply your numerators together, which will be 30. Multiply your denominators together, which will be 5 times 21, which would be, well, gotta think. Some people can't do this right away in their head, but 21 times 5 is just 105. And we can simplify this. Of course we can simplify this, because 30 over 105, well, those are both, they're both multiples of 5, so we can just divide them both by 5, and they would divide by 5 evenly. 30 would divide by 5 evenly, 105 would divide by 5 evenly, 30 divided by 5 is 6, 105 divided by 5, think, we just did it, 5 times 21, 105 divided by 5 is just 21. And can we simplify that any further? No, we cannot. Final answer is 6/21. And so pretty much the process is just multiply. If we are given a multiplication problem of two fractions, just multiply your numerator, multiply your denominator. And so that pretty much 5 times 1 is 5, 6 times 2 is 12. And if you can simplify it for any of these, if you can simplify it, you must simplify your answer.